We have this tweet from Nuance Bro, and he says, "This is how you do it, folks." All right, so let me give you some backstory. These Media Matters types are digging up old comments and videos from Matt Walsh when he had like a radio show when he was younger. They're taking them out of context and trying to smear and defame Matt Walsh, and it's stupid. There was one video they shared where it's Matt Walsh and his friend joking about burning a book and being Nazis or whatever. But it was funny because they couldn't get the lighters to work, and they were like, "Just wait until rednecks figure out fire," and they're like trying to light a book on fire. It was funny. So in response to the smear campaign against Matt Walsh, he responded by saying this.
So here's my official answer, for the record. Kiss my ass. I do not apologize. In fact, by all rights, you sick freaks should be the ones apologizing to me for lying and defaming me, and doing it all because I'm trying to prevent you from sexually mutilating children. You damned monsters. You child-abusing psychopaths. I wouldn't apologize to you soulless parasites if I had a gun to my head.
Oh, man, dude.
Instead, I'd rather just tell you all to piss off. I apologize for nothing. I concede nothing. I will never surrender even a single inch of ground to a pitchfork mob of degenerate morons. You know, the secret they never say out loud is that nobody is truly canceled unless they consent to it.
Correct.
And they willingly play their assigned roles. Well, I do not consent. And I'm not going to play the game. I'm not going anywhere.
That was absolutely amazing, and that's how it's done. That's how you do it, folks, says Nuance Bro, and that's it right there.
I don't like the name calling, though. I like Matt a lot, but calling people like insults is just inflaming. I think it's just inflaming. If he really wants to lower tension, I mean, if he wants to.
These are people who have intentionally taken audio from him out of context and then lied about him to try and cause damage to his work when he's trying to help kids.
When he said that I'm trying to stop you from mutilating children, I get that because he is. But when he calls them like gratuitously morons and things like that, I don't know. It's just
I can understand not wanting to insult someone in a general context of a political argument, but this is different. These are people who are acting outside the bounds of morality and ethics. They are seeking to manipulate and lie to people for political power.
What would you
he's
say?
Calling them out.
Yeah, what would you say? What would be your response? So you're Matt Walsh. You're remaking this video. Go.
I would have taken one of the
go.
people.
No. Go. You're on right now.
I'd be talking to an individual. I would say their name and directly talk to them as if they were sitting in front of me, and tell them what I would tell them if they were sitting here.
So they're organizations.
Well, I would pick a person and talk right to that person. But you should make videos and talk to Joe Biden.
An organization published a video. Who do you respond to?
The CEO.
Okay, there you go. Okay, so
what
would you say?
Well, I mean,
Mr. Poopy Pants.
First, you got to figure out who said it. I mean, if it's, what is it? Like, who's the organization? I don't know the specifics, but I would talk to an individual. That's a big part of it, is you name them, you talk to them as if they're there. Ian, they listen and they hear that and they're like, okay, he's actually talking to me. Now I'm starting to understand.
There was someone who came to one of our events and lied. And a leftist, smear merchant, and lied. And so I politely responded on Twitter with like, "Hey, this thing you're saying didn't actually happen. I hope we can resolve this." And they responded with something like, "I hope a bird craps on your face." And so I went, okay, I guess. I was at an event, a political event, and the person who founded this organization was on stage. And so I asked, "Hey, you say that your organization is engaged in truth-telling and fact-checking. When one of your reporters posted verifiably false statements about me and I asked for a correction politely, they said they wished a bird would crap on my face," and he says, "Whatever," ignored me and walked off.
Then you got to go to the individual that said they want the crap on your face and talk directly to them in a video by name.
Ian,
that's how you do it. You confront people, and they love the drama. The crowd loves the drama too.
This is why people like what Matt Walsh did, because the problem we face in the culture war is that whatever this faction is constantly tries to be nice.
No, I would not be nice to the person. I would directly confront them. But them, an individual, that's how you get through them. This is my point. They
are burning down pregnancy centers. They're firebombing them and then lying about what the pregnancy centers do. They are lying about Matt Walsh. And for the longest time, you get people like, with all due respect, when we had why am I forgetting it? Rick Santorum on the show. And he's like, no, we got to play by the rules. And I'm like, yo, they're burning down buildings. And we're not even saying do that. We're saying the law enforcement should be dealing with it. But at the very least, we don't just say, I'm so sorry. Let's be nice to them. We say these are evil, awful people who are burning down buildings. What they were trying to do with Matt Walsh was accuse him of being a child abuser because of out of context comments from 15 years ago.
Who is it? Is it just text comments that were insulting him?
He was on a radio show and he said something like, throughout history, women got pregnant at much younger ages. And now, in today's day and age, they're saying it's a mistake if women do, but that's only because we decided that. I don't know the full context. I just know that they're taking these things out of context, which is why he said outright, you are lying to defame me, and I will not apologize to you for it. So, look, we constantly have people saying like, hey, why don't we invite this person to come on the show? Question, how come none of the prominent leftists will come on the show and sit down and have a conversation? Some will, but they tend to have smaller followings. They're trying to establish themselves. But for the most part, they don't. And then what happens when we do have some of these people on? They smack the microphone and freak out and get angry.
Yeah, I make videos to those people directly with their name, and I look at the camera while I'm talking to them, and you can humiliate them to their face via video, and everyone gets to watch.
It doesn't do anything.
It does a lot. I used to do it it's pretty aggro, but you can definitely shake someone by doing that to them.
So you have people who make videos and comment on that all day and night. Matt Walsh came out and said he smacked him back. He made it personal. And people are happy that he did because people are sick. This is why people voted for Trump. Because for the longest time, you get people, again, I appreciate Rick Santorum coming on, but his attitude of being very deferential and saying, we're the ones who are going to play by the rules. It's like, okay, if you're playing a game Monopoly and the person sitting across the table is literally cheating in front of you and you're like, well, you're cheating. And they go, and? Are you going to keep playing? I guess we better play by the rules. Okay, they're not, but you sit there anyway? It makes no sense. So this is where he's finally saying, this is the sentiment that people have been feeling for a long time. I don't care anymore. You don't matter to me. You people are awful. You are sick. They killed people in the summer of love. They burned down buildings. What they're doing to kids, it's just all abhorrent. And I'm very, very happy today that when I see this stuff, I know that I don't have to fear them. And Matt Walsh doing this, providing this statement saying, I would not apologize to you parasites if there was a gun to my head, showing how successful that is. That he can do that we don't have to bend the knee to a psychopathic cult. It is freeing. That we're not trying to be mean. We're trying to be nice. We're trying to solve problems, and we're trying to find a path forward. And what do we get instead? Bricks through the window, lies, manipulations, and a refusal to have a conversation. They stop Ben Shapiro from going to events and speaking. They stop Ann Coulter from doing it. They spray painted a death threat to liberals when Milo Yiannopoulos tried to speak at an event. Where are the conservatives burning down universities? Not happening. So at a certain point, there is a group of people saying, you know what? We don't want what they're doing. We don't want violence. We don't want retaliation, but you don't matter to us anymore at all.
I don't know. Matt definitely seems concerned. If they didn't matter to him, he wouldn't have responded.
So Matt doesn't talk about this very often, but I am sure that his entire family, all 6 of his children, 2 of them unborn, and his poor wife are undoubtedly under constant threat from these absolute soulless monsters. These are people who will stop at nothing. They will come to your house. They will break your windows. They will insult you. If you go to try to defend yourself, they will get you arrested. They will call the cops on you. They will use the state against you. They arrested something like 11 old pro-life protesters just for the crime of being at a pro-life protest. They will use everything in the books. Their game is power. They talk about it all the time because it's what they're going for. And they accuse the right of wanting it because it's what they want more than anything else. And when they have power, they will not give you anything back. They don't care about your freedom of speech.
And all he did was insult them.
Right.
There was a riot on January 20th, 2017, where, I mean, you were there, right, Luke? We were both. Yeah, that's right. I got arrested. You got away.
Yep. There's a huge line of riot cops. I pushed right through them and got pepper sprayed right in the face.
They were forming a line, and so I flanked left to try and get away out of the rioters. Luke went forward, and then the cops boxed in the left area, and then all the rioters surrounded me. But I ended up getting out because I had a press credential. These people, not only did they have the charges dropped after they were smashing windows and setting fire to vehicles. They destroyed the livelihood of an immigrant who had leased a limo to do it, to run a company as a driver. They set his limo on fire. The cops were unable to do anything about it. These people got arrested. And then after they were released and the charges were dropped, they filed a lawsuit against the city and won, and the city paid them money. And that's what we've been dealing with for what, a decade now? So for the longest time, you don't see, there is a 0% probability that Matt Walsh's followers storm a university to shut down these speakers. And that's actually really funny because Matt says, I'm trying to stop you from harming kids, and they won't even protest, to a certain degree. Obviously, there are people that are going out and protesting. What I'm saying is, on the scale that the left is engaged in this level of violence, the right goes nowhere near. And all we're getting is Matt Walsh being like, you are sick degenerates. And you are saying like, oh, that's bad, he shouldn't do that. Okay, well, I can certainly understand why you'd feel that way, but you should understand why people are like, they burned down a building and we've insulted them, and you're mad at Matt Walsh.
If you want to disperse a mob, you got to shake one individual up psychologically. Yelling expletives at the crowd doesn't fix the problem, which is the mob is insane.
And this is the point.
You take one of them, you make an example out of them by basically humiliating them in front of the crowd, and the crowd's like, oh, I don't want to be associated.
When they refuse to come on these shows and have conversations?
No, you make an internet video directly to you.
Oh, come on. Dude.
Yeah, but Ian, you're sort of saying like, don't be mean, but then be mean.
I'm not saying don't be mean.
It's not just that. It's like you're saying scream into the wind. No,
you make an internet video. Especially you right now. You make an internet video talking to something like Joe Biden.
Watch the videos.
300. Oh, you don't know that, dude.
I do know it.
If someone hears their name on the internet, they're going to that video.
What they do, and this is like the perfect example, is the Young Turks. Instead of actually watching the segment, or maybe they do, they just watch a clip from some propaganda channel, or at the very least, they watch it and then lie about it. Like every single time the Young Turks has done a segment about something I've said, they've lied about what the context of the conversation was. For example, we had a conversation recently where I said something to the effect of, I'm sure most women are happy to have careers and engage in work. I'm sure some of them, however, probably end up regretting it, wishing they had families. And what they did was they took that, twisted it, and claimed I thought I was saying something like women just want to be wives and have babies, which is not what I said.
Didn't Chang like approach you one time,
screaming at me and
what was
lunacy?
Why?
Nuts. They made a smear piece about Dave Rubin, and they put my name front and center for some reason. And I saw Jank at Politicon. I was like, hey man, how's it going? I was trying to get in touch with you. I've been messaging you. You didn't respond. But you guys put up a video that like it was about Dave Rubin or something, but my name was on it. So I was just hoping I could ask you like just in the future not to do that. And then he just started screaming, "You're a Trump supporter!" And this was in like 2017 or something. Just started screaming at me. I don't even remember what he was saying at the time. And I was like, "Why are you yelling at me?" And then a bunch of journalists ran up and started filming, and they're like, "What happened?" I'm like, "I have no idea." I was like, "Dude, when nuts started screaming at me." These people have lost their minds, dude. I've known Jank for a long time. I remember seeing him at VidCon and being like, "Hey, how's it going?" Shaking his hand. I've been in a show a couple times. And then one day I go up to him and I'm like, "Hey, you guys did like, they were making fun of Dave Rubin or something." And they used a report that had Tim Pool in their thumbnail, like right in the middle. And I messaged Jank. I was like, "Hey, man," I was like, "you made a video and it's got my name on it, but it's about Dave Rubin." I'm just, he ignored me. I messaged Anna, who I also have known for a long time, and they ignored me. And then now they just make weird smear pieces. Like, there's no point in trying to have a conversation with people who will never come and have a conversation.
Well, I think there's a point in trying. And eventually, you can get through it. Just because you guys are talking, like right now what's happening is you're talking past each other. You talk about them. They talk about you.
I message them politely.
But I'm talking about internet video communicate. There used to be video responses on YouTube. The whole point was you make a video to someone, then they answer you back and talk to you. There's communication. People get to listen and watch. And then they start to mimic the behavior.
Yeah, why do you think YouTube removed video responses?
Because Google bought it and they don't understand social networking.
Well, that's how Ian and I first met. I did a video response to Ian. That's how we first met.
Look, man, knowing these people for like a decade, and then one day Ian screaming in my face in public, and my response to that is still consistently to politely invite him for a conversation.
You said Ian. Chank?
Chank, sorry.
I wouldn't do that to you, baby. Unless you're like far away and I need you to hear me.
That'll be in 5 years.
Knowing this guy for as long as I have, having polite conversations, appearing on his show on more than one occasion, then one day, abruptly and for no reason, he starts screaming in my face in public. I made a video about it. I'm like, I have no idea what happened. I have no idea why he's screaming at me. I'm not Alex Jones. I don't have any beef with him. I've never argued with him before. I've never had a negative word about him. He just started screaming at me in public. cameras everywhere. They're filming it. And I'm like, what's happening? I was like, why are you yelling at me? And then even after that, I still politely say, we'd love to have you on the show at any time. We'll cover all costs. I know you run.
That's a great position.
But they will never do it. Never. Because they are not genuine people. This is why when Matt Walsh says you are degenerate morons, people are cheering for it. Because for too long, we have tried to politely just be like, can we please talk and resolve this? And they say, no, we're going to burn your city down. We're going to beat your elderly. We're going to try and kill Kyle Rittenhouse.
You're talking about a lot of different people, though.
I'm talking about all of these people aligned with this movement, this cult, this ideology for whatever reason. And there's various subcultures within it. But for some reason, all of them refuse to have a conversation. A small handful will have a conversation. Jimmy Dore, who's basically an outright socialist, is called far right. It's nonsensical cult meaninglessness.
I wonder if he's changed because he actually spat in Alex's face on one interview, and then
we were there.
Have they resolved that? Like that was absurd.
And he was there with Jen.
Oh, that was the same event.
So yes, the Young Turks were doing this sit down at was it the RNC, right?
The RNC in Cleveland.
And Alex came up laughing and talking to them while they were doing their thing, and they got mad. Jimmy spit on Alex. We were standing right there. Yeah. It was crazy.
They're like, what the hell's going on here?
So look, I can understand.
But now Jimmy actually supports free speech, which is great.
Well, he's always supported free speech.
Yeah, but like
having
that
a personal,
seems like obscene behavior.
Sure. Look, I think what Jimmy did in that context was wrong. But I think there's a difference between someone coming and interrupting your live shot, so you're having a personal beef with them, and whether or not you support free speech. Mm-hmm. Like, I don't think it's inherently free speech that someone walks up to you during your show and starts trying to interrupt it. You know what I mean? That's a different question. Mm-hmm. But sure, Jimmy should not have got baited and spat him or whatever. I think Jimmy has consistently called out the establishment, the Democrats, and what he encounters is all of a sudden people are blindly marching in lockstep behind them. And he's like, since when? Since when have we supported this machine, this corporate Democrat machine? And they're like, you're right wing. And he's like, what?
I did see a segment of Anna and Cenk, pushing back against the defund the police. So it's not all one group.
No. This is funny though. You're right. They recently, and I gave them credit for it, came out saying defund the police is stupid. But they very heavily supported it. So
yeah, there were I saw certain tweets. Yeah.
Right. A bunch of tweets came out. And so people were like, they supported this. Now look.
Change your mind.
Exactly. Yeah. And that's why I'm like, that good on them. But the issue is, it's politically expedient. Defund the police has become unpopular. They're following the polls. That's it. If anything, I have all the reason in the world to just keep doubling down and being like, Trump's the best. Instead, I'm like, I don't know, man. I think Ron DeSantis maybe.
Dude,
and then later,
why is Trump saying death penalty for drug dealers?
Right.
That is insane. Why? Just don't.
So but we can break this down. First, I disagree with the death penalty outright. Second, however, most people interpret that as specifically having to do with traffickers of like heroin and opioids and things like that.
Or if you're lacing stuff with fentanyl.
Right. Not like someone slinging pot. And the other argument is that when it comes to those things, these people have killed dozens, hundreds or more. So,
but be specific. Don't make statements like that. You have to be targeted in your language.
No, and that's Trump.
Yeah,
that's right. So that's why, when I look at there's some tweets right now. Someone tweeted at me, Will Chamberlain. It was an amazing show we had here with a handful of people. And, Will Chamberlain said something like he actually thinks the Fed is good. And then everyone else goes like, no. Like, it's like the most shockingly offensive thing you can say to anybody in this room. But Will's great. We love having Will on the show, even though we completely disagree on that. And then we have Eliyahu, who reports for Timcast, and he's talking about how he supports military intervention because he wants a monopolar world with the U.S. at charge. And we got really into it. I was yelling. I had to apologize, and but we think he's fantastic. We disagree to the point where we were like really angry, and I was like, I was pissed. But I think he does an amazing job, and I think we're glad to have those conversations. But there's that group of people that claim to be the left. They will not come on. They will not talk. And for some reason, their opinions flow with the wind, is however the polls are suggesting. It's amazing how
and whatever is the popular group think. I mean, we even disagree. We have debates on this show, and iron sharpens iron. It's great to have those conversations. It's great to challenge yourself. It's great to actually question things instead of just like, hey, this is what people want me to say. I'm just going to say it because I want to be liked. And that's where a lot of these people come from. This is kind of group herd sheep mentality. And this is why you never bend the knee to the pitchfork mob. This is why you never acquiesce to what everyone in the status quo is going along with, because if you're doing that, you're just degressing yourself when we should be challenging ourselves. We should be questioning ourselves. We should be, of course, always going up to authority and saying, not today, you SOB, because you deserve some accountability, some transparency, and you deserve to be questioned outright with what you're doing with the power that you have. Power should always be challenged. These people are just trying to get as much as they can for themselves and truly screwing everyone and giving a disservice not only to their audience, but also to themselves by doing this. So question everything, and this is why I liked what I saw with Matt Walsh, because it comes from that energy. Like, I'm not going to do what you tell me to do. I'm not going to say 2 + 2 = 5. And this is why a lot of people seeing this from Matt Walsh today. I don't agree with everything that Matt has to say or think, but when he came out with this message, it was a resounding F you to anyone in the establishment, anyone trying to control him, and that's something that I want to see more of.
I think the never apologize idea is generally true, assuming like never apologize, for your principles. Never go back against your principles. But the idea of never apologizing as a blanket statement makes no sense. Like, you should apologize when you want to apologize, and your core principles tell you that that's the appropriate thing to do.
I loved when he was just like, by all accounts, you should be apologizing to me.
Yeah. So he acknowledges that apologies are needed sometimes. Yeah.
Yeah, that was good. Yeah, you know what, man? I think he hit a home run, and the more to the point is, you have people who go on Twitter who lie, trying to get people fired from their jobs. This was one of those circumstances. A lot of people have, come out and been like, I'm so sorry, you're angry with me, and they still lose their jobs. Matt Walsh, hey, look, the Daily Wire is not going to fire Matt Walsh over this. They're going to be laughing about it. And he gets the opportunity to come out and say this. By doing so, it is a stake in the heart of the cancel culture mob. Thanks for checking out this segment from the Timcast IRL podcast. But if you want to check out the full show live, tune in Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. And if you want more special access content, head over to timcast.com and become a member. Your membership helps sustain this company, keep our journalists employed, makes this show happen, and you will get access to exclusive members-only segments of the Timcast IRL podcast, and there's a massive library to check out. So again, go to timcast.com or tune in Monday through Friday at 8 p.m., and we'll see you all there.